York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
Yup, good to go. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick Of Time show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And guess what? The Knicks are still rolling. We won 4 games in a row and beat the Hornets, and it wasn't even close this time, all right? As Clyde would say, all of these Knicks had the knack, and we did our thing and took care of business and blew the Hornets out of the water in MSG. And I'm about to read you these stats right now. OG Anunoby, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, gives you 25 points, 4 steals, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, all right? Josh Hart, of course, Horton with another triple-double, gives you 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, after having a slow start, gives you 27 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks, might I add, all right? Mikal Bridges plays all 46 minutes, plays 19 points and 7 assists, and 3 rebounds for Mikal Bridges. Brunson, our captain, gives you 24 points and 5 assists. Miles McBride chips in with 10 points and 6 assists. The Knicks continue the trend of getting about 30 assists a game. They finished with 29 assists again today. And guess what? The rebounding battle came to the Knicks, edge 50-45, which is a big deal because the Knicks were getting out-rebounded on the offensive end in the first half. So the Knicks put it together, went 4 in a row, and handily beat the Hornets. And we're gonna talk about it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. And even though there was some ugly, I'm glad that it ended with a win. And before I talk about the details of the game, I'm gonna introduce you to my guy, ESPN contributor, the Latin assassin, the Escobedo. What's going on, Lee?
What's up, brother? Good to be here after another Knicks win. As I mentioned a couple post games ago, I feel like every year we need an embarrassing loss to the Dallas Mavericks to right the ship and get us on track. Here we are since that brutal loss, 4-game win streak, and beat a very solid Charlotte team twice, even though LaMelo was out tonight, and then beat one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in the NBA, in the Orlando Magic. This team looks scary. Offensively, never seen anything close to this. What this Knicks team is able to produce with the versatility of their starting unit and the knockdown shooting Deuce and McBride off the bench. Precious Achiuwa, I've been saying it. I've been on this hill. He is more important defensively to our defensive identity than even Mitchell Robinson. And I cannot wait to see how he starts plugging in and allowing Tibbs to switch 2 through 5 defensively on the pick and roll. I think that's going to unlock a whole new dimension to our defensive game plan, and it's going to make us maybe a top 10 defense by the end of the year.
That's a big statement, but you know, the Knicks did have a real good showing on the defensive end when Precious Achiuwa came in. So I can see where you're going with that for sure. I can definitely see where you're going with that for sure. But let's get to it now. Let's get to it. I want to start off by talking about Jalen Brunson for a second, because it took about 5 or 6 games for Jalen Brunson to get on track. And he's mastered the art of picking his spot. The Knicks, they started off really slowly. I don't know if you know, they started off kind of slow. I was a little bit concerned. I think it was down 13 to 14 points in the first quarter or so, and looked like defensively we fell asleep. I was getting a little bit mad. I was looking at Cat. He looked like he's a little lackadaisical. I was looking at the team. They wasn't boxing out on with the rebounds, and they were also having problems scoring. Jalen Brunson took it upon himself to score 19 points in the first quarter. Not on my watch. And he just put the team on his back and just started to go. And he did it in a variety of ways. So using screens, step back threes, ISOs in the mid-range. He did it all when everybody else was still trying to find their rhythm. But the beauty of what Jalen Brunson has done is after he got the team back into the game and the team started to wake up on both ends of the ball, he then kind of laid back a little bit. He started to play floor general. He was content of giving the ball to OG in the corner. He was content to giving the ball to Mikal Bridges to post it up on small players. He played a perfect floor game once again, and he's been doing good ever since that slow start. So he's actually averaging less shots this season, but his efficiency has gone up. So shout out to Jalen Brunson, who's done a good job. It is a big reason why we even here today, as long as the other four starting fives. But I just want to start it off with the captain in Jalen Brunson. All right.
It's been a while since I've gone on a hot take rant, so here I am. This Knicks offense can go down in history as the greatest of all time in the history of a game, not just a franchise, the entire game. And I think right now they have the best starting five in the NBA. I believe it's better than Boston's. I would give Boston the edge defensively. Their five guys, when Horford comes in for KP, they're able to switch 1 through 5. They're probably the only team that's capable of doing that. Maybe you could argue OKC can, but I don't trust Hart or Chet on the perimeter. Boston is unbelievable. No disrespect to them. They are the best team in the NBA, but I think we have the best 5 in the NBA offensively. And that's because in the modern era, you can get by, not just get by, you can thrive with 3 wings who can score at all 3 levels, mid-range, at the rim, and the three-point line. But the dominance comes in the modern NBA from the point of attack at the point guard position and running your fluid offense to the 5 and pick and roll. And if that center can stretch out to the three-point line, the Jokers, the Embiids, you have a very small percentage of players who can really take over a game and bend the game to their will because of their physicality. We have that in Brunson and Cat. I was telling Jay before the show started, we have 2 MVP candidates on this team. If you think about it. Now, does that sound hyperbolic to non-Knicks fans? Hell yeah. Well, I didn't laugh that at most spaces. If I came on and said that they weren't Knicks spaces, hell yeah. But I watch every Knicks game and have for 24 years. And I have watched enough basketball all around to be able to substantiate my take with look at how Jalen Brunson has improved year over year. Look at how important he is to orchestrate an offense. Then look at Cat in the pick and roll action with Jalen Brunson and tell me who is better in a 2-man game than those 2 across the other 29 teams in NBA. I say nobody. So to have 3 wings who can all give you 3-level scoring, but have a dominance at the point and the 5, Boston can't claim that. Drew Holiday is their 5th best offensive player. KP is injured and inconsistent. Cat and Brunson, when healthy, we could be the greatest offense of all time.
Woo, hot take. Well, I will say at this moment, the Knicks are the highest scoring starting 5 in the league at this point, averaging 98 points a game. I think Han said that stat. So, I mean, that's the first step of being the best offense is having the the highest starting 5. I mean, part of that might be because we don't have much of a bench right now. Campaign didn't play, but also a lot of that is we do have really damn good starting 5 with two guys who can give you 30 whenever they want to, but they're both sacrificing their game for the good of the team. And other guys who were just really stars at their role, like Ebony likes to say, both of all these guys are 3 and D guys, and it's all coming together. The mastermind in Leon Rose is starting to look even more mastermindy with the way the Knicks are playing right now. And it helps that the schedule is a little soft in the middle. It does. I'm not gonna hold you. And the schedule will continue to be Charmin for a few weeks, which I'm not mad about.
Hell no.
But the real test is gonna come in a month. But while we're playing this soft schedule, we're beating teams the way we're supposed to be beating them. So I'll take all that. All right. Awesome. You mentioned the 3-level scoring of our wings. I want to show you guys some crazy stats from Josh Hart, because there's a lot of people we can talk about. Like, we can really do a breakdown of every single starting 5 today, and we will. We will. And we started with Jalen Brunson, but I'm gonna give Josh Hart some love because I've talked about how Josh Hart has been scoring pretty well. He's been more reliable from three than Mikal this season, which is kind of crazy. Even though Mikal is bringing it up, Mikal is now up to scoring. But I'm gonna show you some stats from Mr. Josh Hart, the guy, Mr. Tell I what it is. Josh Hart. If you're looking at these stats right now, where did Lee go? Hold on a second, Lee. Where did Lee go?
I'm hidden. I'm still here.
You're still here. You're still here, but you're hidden. All right, I'll get out this. I'll get in and get out. All right. So if you're looking at these stats right now for Josh Hart, boom. If you look all the way at assist usage, right? You see a 100 next to Josh Hart's name. Josh Hart is number one in the NBA on 100 percentile in assist usage. And I saw a lot of that today. He did a lot of point guarding today. There was one pass, he did like a look-off pass to, I think, Mikal Bridges for a layup. That was beautiful. And you already know he's a one-man's fast break for sure. So, and on top of that, when you're looking at Josh Hart's shooting across the board at the rim, 90th percentile, short mid, 92%, 92nd percentile, long mid, 97th percentile, all mid, 96th percentile, non-corner threes, 43% from three, non-corner threes on the 79th percentile. Josh Hart has done a good job turning his weaknesses around, not becoming a liability. Today, the Hornets stacked off of him a lot. They was like, you know what? We got Mikal Bridges hitting shots. We got OG hitting shots. They chose to sag off of Josh Hart, and Josh Hart made him pay repeatedly. And they stopped that ish after he hit a few of those in a row. So thank you, Josh Hart, for not only being the heart and soul of the team, being the guy who's always going to tell the truth during these locker room discussions, being the guy who's going to give you 110% each play, but also being the guy who I was killing in the summer about being a shooter and working on your weaknesses, and you absolutely done that and become a good three-point shooter, shooting 37% from three for the season so far. So shout out to Josh Hart.
I have been ringing the bell since like the first week of the season, and the fact that the people who criticize Tom Thibodeau's offensive schemes don't know what they're talking about and aren't doing the lead work and the research. First of all, you have to embrace humility and say, I actually might not know what I'm talking about here. So let me do some research and watch some videos and film and see if Tom Thibodeau has actually improved the Knicks offense year over year. And he has. And using Josh Hart in that Draymond Green elbow action has unlocked our offense and allowed for even more fluid spacing because you have multiple people that can playmate in a single set. You have Brunson, who can initiate the initial action, and then Josh Hart can do secondary screens, which he's done a lot for Mikal Bridges to get him open off ball. But also when he catches on the elbow, then he can find the cutters, the backdoor cutters, the slashers, and the three-point shooters from where he is. And he's really hard to guard in that elbow because 1-2 dribbles, he's in his perfect mid-range spot for that push shot. Mm-hmm. And then that's probably our most highest percentage shot that we have in the Knicks arsenal. So that action running that shows that it's not a bunch of isolation or not a bunch of chucking threes. Tibbs is playing a really good game offensively. You can't be the number one team in the NBA offensively without having a great offensive coach. I think Tibbs has evolved into such, but he has not been that in his past. So it's also incorrect to say this is who he's always been and he hasn't evolved. No, he has evolved, and that has to be recognized. Josh Hart, man, all around unbelievable. I think he might be the first guy I've seen that averages 14 or 15 points a game who I would say is absolutely an all-star because everything else he's done, I've said this before too, is at an all-star level except for scoring. Yeah. He's an unbelievable rebounder, passer, defender, creator for chaos, probably top 3 one-man fast break in the NBA. I gotta give respect to Giannis. I really like Jalen Green, but man, this guy downhill is unstoppable, and he also draws fouls a lot. He finishes through contact, and he hits his free throws. Like, man, unbelievable performance tonight. Again, every night from Josh Hart.
Yeah, and finishing at the rim at a 78% rate. Cat, man, that's another stat that Cat is helping you produce. All these guys are finishing at the rim at a higher percentage thanks to Cat and the spacing of the New York Knicks. And also, Tibbs talked about the offense and the versatility and Tibbs' growth. What I was looking for this game was how do we attack switching defenses? Switching defenses have given us problems. So I was wondering how are we going to attack them? And one thing we usually do that works pretty most of the time is Jalen freaking Brunson just torches you. And that helped us get in the game because we struggled for a second and then Jalen Brunson started torching them. But then I started to notice the coaching started to kick in, like the cuts. There was a lot of off-ball action, backdoor cuts, misdirection screen, and then cutting, leading to a lot of layups and causing to the Hornets to kind of get confused and miss rotations. And so offensively, we just seemed a little bit more prepared for this type of switching offense. There was a lot of off-ball movement, and we saw a lot of guys be the beneficiary of that, whether it be Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, or Josh Hart. It really worked out in our favor, and the Knicks did a better job attacking that. I mean, they had to go down first, which was annoying, but they did a better job attacking that one in like the first and second, the end of the first quarter, maybe second quarter, and then really mastered it in the third and fourth quarter, for sure. All right. Mikal Bridges. Lee. Campaign played today, man. And Tibbs, he is testing that Iron Man theory. He's like, man, Mikal Bridges has never missed a game, so it's safe to play him the entire game. And boy, did he. And he produced. He definitely produced. Mikal Bridges gave you 19 points. Was the highest plus minus of these Knicks. Once again, it's a stat to watch out for. It seems like when he has the highest plus minus, we start to win. Defensively, seemed locked in. Well, especially in the second half. Another good game from Mikal Bridges. Despite playing the entire half, the entire game. Interestingly enough, Lee, he looked like he had more energy in the fourth quarter. It looked like his stamina has to be crazy. So I don't know. I know you the Mikal Bridges. People know you for the Mikal Bridges rants you going on. What did you think of Mikal Bridges today?
Yeah, great tie-in to my back and forth on the YouTube comments with my boy Pitts for Timmy. We've been going at each other's throat over my takes on Mikal, which at the end of the day, I just want him to play better. I actually never said we shouldn't have done the trade. Never regretted sending the 5 picks for him. I was just super frustrated that this was the type of guy that we got because before the season, I had the most confidence in his consistency. I thought for sure, easy, 16 points a game, decent splits, awesome defense, and he was the most inconsistent to start the season. But he sure has turned around since then. We don't even need massive scoring outputs from him for him to be highly effective because today he was our lead assist man. I believe he's finished with 7 or 8 dimes as well. So he's then a tertiary playmaking hub as well as having Brunson and Hart out there to initiate the offense. I think it's absurd to play on the entire game. I think it's absurd when Tibbs has the starters in when you're up by 30 in the fourth quarter. I don't understand how Tibbs' mind works. Only Tibbs does, and he be tibbing. So you kind of sometimes hang your head and just pray, do whatever you need to do, pray to your God or your idols or whatever, that there's no injuries. Mikal Bridges does play smart. He doesn't take a whole lot of risks too, so he doesn't do things that might incur an injury. Yeah. Thank God. But it's freak accidents, man. It's been a season full of freak accidents across the NBA. So I think maybe it's also a continuity thing. He's really trying to get Mikal to have continuity with the entire rotation, not just the starters. So he wants him out there with Sims and Precious now when he came back, and with Campaign and Deuce. So it's about building that because the playoffs, no one's probably going to play more minutes than him and Josh Hart. So it made sense in that regard, but damn it, not in Charlotte with LaMelo Ball out. It's kind of unnecessary. Tibbs be tipping, man. It doesn't make me hate Tibbs anymore, but it does make me love Mikal more because dude doesn't complain. He seems to have a reserve of energy that he can shift into fifth gear when needed. And he's been a monochrome of defensive effort. Love the effort defensively, especially in the second half.
Yeah. Crazy how it seemed like as the game went on, he had more energy. It was really backwards. It was really backwards. I'm like, fourth quarter, we up 15. I'm like, damn, Mikal, that was a really good contest. We'll be up 15 in the fourth quarter. But cool. I mean, and I get it. All right, cool. We don't have Campaign. We know that Mikal Bridges can help you have an offense that'll flow. Mikal had 7 assists today, as this is his season high with the Knicks. So, I mean, good call, but damn, can we get Kolek up 15, up 20? I don't know. Just me. But shout out to Mikal Bridges for having another good game, stringing together multiple games of good two-way ball. And I also just love the aggressiveness. It's like there was a point where it's like there was a mouse in the house. They gave him the ball. I'm posting this dude up. He's only 6 feet. I'm not looking to pass first. I feel like he was like, yes, I'm hunting my shot. And then he found OG for a really good pass in the basket when he really hard doubled. So Mikal, I like this aggressiveness and that the mix of passing and shooting today to me for Mikal was perfect.
I would be, man, I would love to read the scouting report for opposing teams on who and what kind of shots they're willing to settle for. Like, what to the opposing coaches? What is a bad niche shot in that starting 5 lineup? Who are they on sag off of and leave open? Because you mentioned it, like, okay, sag off Josh Hart. If you leave him wide open, he's going to hit that 3, or he's going to make the right play because he's so intelligent to find the guy who's going to hit the highest percentage shot. This team really trusts each other. There's a really solid, thorough line between all 5 starters, and OG mentioned it in his post-game interview that they trust each other and they're willing to make the right pass and the extra pass until they hit the most high percentage shot. So I don't know what kind of game plan these opposing coaches are doing, but no one's figured it out yet on how to stop this Knicks offense.
Yeah. And shout out to the chat real quick. Hold on a second. Shout out to the cat, because you read my mind. You knew where I was going. We was talking about all the wings. As Parker said, OG was the guy tonight. Was this the first, like, I haven't heard, you don't hear a lot of OG chants, but the defense this kid played today, woo, boy, did he deserve it. OG was filling up the stat sheet for sure. OG stats: 4 steals, 2 blocks, 25 points, 10 of 18 from the field, 3 or 4 from 3. That's 16 streak is long gone. 2 or 2 from free throw line, plus 18. Had the hardest assignment of guarding the Hornets' best guy in Brandon Miller. And the thing about OG is OG was getting torched in the first half. OG was getting torched in the first half. And Miller was talking smack. Miller, like, I remember, like, Miller got like and one. Miller crossed him over, got to the hole, got an and one. It started to get a little bit chippy. But just because you got an and one, it got a little bit chippy, OG didn't stop playing. And Miller, he got a little bit quiet in that second half. He got a little bit quiet. The team defense and OG's defense all stepped up. And then you start to see OG dunking the ball, getting the threes. But one of the highlights of the game were on the defensive end, when he blocks, he sends a Hornets player's ball into the stands, blocking a 3-point shot. Then the very next play does the exact same thing on the other corner, blocking another 3-point shot. And then the Knicks end up getting a stop, and I think they get a layup on the other end. So OG, if you're looking about why he's a defensive player of the year guy, if you're looking for a reason why we traded for this guy, you know, look no further than this game, where he gives you efficient scoring from the 3-point line and a defensive masterclass in the second half of this game.
I tweeted that the lineup, the 5-man lineup of Deuce, Hart, Bridges, OG, and Precious Achiuwa is the greatest defensive 5 I've ever seen as a Knicks fan. I mean, my takes are hyperbolic because I'm seeing things I've never seen before this season. A lot of it has to do with we've been the worst team in professional sports from 2000 to 2020. But a lot of it, too, is because Leon Rose has built a masterclass in roster construction. This is like an unbelievable starting 5 and bench that we have. So Precious Achiuwa coming back, a guy who I believe is more important than Mitchell Robinson to our defensive identity. He allows us to switch 2 through 5. He allows us to maintain rim protection and offensive rebounding while also giving you finishing around the basket, smart decisions in the short roll, and it's sometimes a capable corner shooter. Precious Achiuwa is the linchpin, I think, of our defense. And once he's back to his regular rotation minutes and role within our roster, I think we will that's where the markers of improvement will happen across all metrics when it comes to paint protection and rim protection and perimeter defense. Even though we're already good at the rim, we were really bad on the perimeter. I think Precious is going to change a lot of that. That 5-man lineup with OG is really the nexus. That sequence where he had those 2 blocks, back-to-back blocks on the 3-point line. And it's so suffocating. I believe the term that Clyde used was
Penetrable,
no,
impervious.
no, pregnantable. Yeah, it's something like that. Like you can't pregnate the offense with a bucket. And it's true. They had this line, this wall that was malleable, that would change and shift depending on what was the strong side, where the ball was at. And OG was a nexus point in that. It was kind of similar to a box and one, but OG was playing more of a free safety where he was just like rotating, not just on the primary action, but knowing where the secondary action was coming from and getting there before the ball did, which put him in prime position to stuff those 3-point shots. I was watching, I was like, damn, the versatility. Finally, we can have a switching lineup, and Tibbs has just like a fan. He's been thinking about this. He's been daydreaming about that 5-man lineup, and that's why you saw it in its full effectiveness. He had to tell those guys, if you have a chance to swat the perimeter, go for it, because those shots are going to lead to transition points on our end. So, man, there's even more to come. Wait till Mitch gets back, and wait till Mitch is there instead of Precious, or wait till Campaign swaps out for Deuce, or maybe even some rotations where Josh Hart is guarding the point of attack, and you have Mitch and Precious in there as well. Like this could get really creative and really dominant, and it's also very versatile depending on who your opponent is. It can basically match up and mirror whatever it's on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. The way we can be able to switch and the versatility we gain with Precious is going to be astronomical for us. And you know the funny thing about those 2 blocks, Ario, like you don't really see OG show emotion. OG in the crowd, smiling, interacting with the people. That's like another OG that Toronto's never seen. I'll tell you that much.
Sure.
Like you feel like OG's found a home here. You feel like it. Yeah, and you and we're reaping the benefits of it. So it was, oh man, I love that. I love when robots smile, Lee. I love when robots and laugh. I love when robots laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Like I love all that.
Skynet's gone online. It's time for the apocalypse, man.
Exactly. Yo, it's like AI has a personality now. Oh no.
iRobot.
Exactly, yo. OG is iRobot. He's definitely iRobot, man. Oh man, great game, OG. Cat, man, Cat. I love Cat, man. I'm starting to separate from the game because Cat plays in a phenomenal game. He's been good, like Lee said, MVP like season. I think my favorite thing about Cat has been his facial expressions. Like his facial expressions when he does something crazy and he just looks at you like,
yeah,
you're an idiot. Like you dumb. You really trying to guard me? Do you know who I am? Like I'm the Dominican from Dykeman who's dunked on your head. Like I felt the energy from Cat today, and I've been feeling it ever since he did the spin Rooney wraparound pass. Like Cat has been on some next level stuff. He's feeling himself. And he should be, because he can't stop him. You can't. He hardly had any points in the first half. Second half, he's like, all right, cool. Threes ain't coming. I'm just gonna punish you and get to the hole. Dunks on a couple of people's head a few times, gets a few and ones, starts hitting fadeaway shots. He's just too damn versatile to stop. He's having a monster season. Monster season. And the defense, even though I wasn't happy with Cat's defense in the first quarter or so, it picked up once again. Like he had 2 blocks. He was more locked in the second half. The defensive IQ seems to be growing. Tibbs has gotten to him. And I was listening to Ian Beckley in a putback, and he was talking about how Tibbs is able to coach him hard. And he also said he wasn't able to coach Julius hard. Interesting tidbit. But he said he's able to coach Cat hard, And it seems like Cat is mature enough to be able to take that and run with it. And we're seeing the fruits of our labor. And we've seen the fruits of everybody on this team being able to be coached hard. And it's resulting in winning basketball.
Yeah, I think this entire roster, you can make an argument that everyone is not only coachable, but wants to be coached hard as well. I think OG Brunson certainly fall in that category. Mikal Bridges seems to be adjusting well in his role, and it's taken to a criticism that I'm sure the coaching staff was mimicking the same things that I was saying, which is here's 7 years of tape on you as a defensive ace, and you're coming here playing the worst defense within the starting unit. To me, very fair to critique his performance up until that point. Here are shots that you've taken your entire career and hitting at a high clip. Why aren't you doing that now? Or here's video of you attacking closeouts in the finals and providing fourth or fifth option offense for a championship caliber team. Why aren't you doing that now? The confidence has risen.
Yeah.
These guys are willing to hear coach. Tibbs has never lost a locker room. He might have lost individual guys, but those type of guys didn't fit the makeup and DNA of what Leon Rose wants in a championship contender. And again, nobody knows what makes a bad Knicks player better than Leon Rose, because he was the agent for Bargiani. He was the agent for Eddie Curry. He was an agent for Ronaldo Blackman. He knew the guys the Knicks dumped assets for that came to the team and used them as a free paycheck and didn't give any effort. So he has now had a particular identity that he's went after, and this starting five embodies that.
Yeah.
Guys who have chips on their shoulders, guys who are willing to do the dirty work, guys who have role player mentalities but all-star skill sets. Jalen Brunson is a perfect embodiment of that, and Leon Rose, he deserves a executive of the century for turning the most hapless franchise in NBA sports history into a championship contender. God bless you. Double blessings, prayers up, Leon Rose.
Yeah. When Leon Rose first got here, Lee, I questioned it. I'm not gonna hold you. I still remember back in the day, Knick Of Time, we weren't even on YouTube yet. Or we just started to get on YouTube and we interviewed Tommy Beer. And I was like, Tommy, why in the world should we hire an agent as a GM? Why can't the Knicks be normal and hire a GM as a GM? And he was like, he's trusted around the league. It's gonna work out. And da-da-da-da. Tommy Beer, you were right, man. You were right. It's worked out freaking phenomenally. And he's used his connections and his know-how and he used his mind and his ability to hire the right people, listen to the right voices, put people in the right place to build this team the right way. And now we have two MVP type candidates, perfect role players in 3-and-D, and we're contenders, guys. We contenders. We are contenders.
As I was watching the second half, I was like, man, seriously, all praise to Leon Rose for the masterful job he's done in the roster construction. But I think it really helps that another trait that he has that previous Zets haven't is humility. He knew there were certain parts of a game of talent evaluation that he wasn't strong at. Perhaps that's drafting, Walt Perrin, Cap, Brock Aller. Like he has guys that he trusts that have input on roster building in areas that he hasn't had the strength of. I think he really understands personalities and how to make personalities gel, and Tom Thibodeau is a big part of that as well. But he then has gone into directions the Knicks have never even, I think maybe the Knicks were probably not only the bottom barrel in the league in terms of how to manage a cap and how to manage development, they also had no one in charge of those positions as well. That shows how brain dead Dolan has been for 20 years and really trying to build a contender that existed in his mind. And Leon Rose knew that. He knew who was in that front office because he's dealt with the front office and fleeced that front office for 20 years as an agent, banking. Yeah. So I love the fact that it's a chorus of voices that are all experts in their field that give him varying opinions on who to go after, and he absorbs a majority and then makes that final call. And that has been super apparent in Gerson Rosas and Worldwide West, and even Scott Perry when he was here. All these guys have contributed to the players who are here now, from Hart to Cat to Bridges to Deuce. All of them have their own story and play a unique part in us as a dynasty. Up and coming.
West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
I was trying to time it to when you stop. I don't forget that was a tweet that came out that it seemed like West called that Cat would be on the Knicks years ago, like around when he first got drafted. Then he gets hired by the Knicks. And then when he traded for him, he was like, I told you.
Yeah.
So, I saw an interesting comment on the chat. I think JT Riddick, my trainer in my head, JT Riddick. Where can I find that chat? He had an interesting. What did he say? What did he say? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it, JT? I think it was something along the lines of something that isn't talked about. I think he's playing with more passion because of his late mom. If you don't know, Cat's mother was a avid Knicks fan. So, although he was very comfortable with the Timberwolves, I could see him being extra emotional being here in the Knicks and kind of channeling that. And just the fact that we just have a better team too, then I think that also helps. But that's an interesting perspective, JT. Thank you.
Yeah, there's definitely another element is being a stand-up person and being like a real human being, someone who's teachable, someone who has humility. That embodies this starting five too. Everyone is kind of like a family man, stays out of trouble off of the court, and considers MSG and CAA and Tibbs to be a part of their extended family as well. That seemed to be super close. That's what locker room really seems to be the closest it's been since I've been a Knicks fan. I know that Knicks tape era was close, but I think there was a disconnect between the front office, coaching staff, and the players. The players were close, but the organization wasn't. Now the entire organization seems to be on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right. Any other comments you want to point out? Let's see. Any other comments? Let's see. Knocking Randle is ridiculous when he was a 3-time All-Star here. Did I knock Randle? I don't think I did. I just reported what Ian said. Ian said that he didn't see Tibbs coach him hard. And that he coaches Cat hard. I'm just reporting what he said. if knocking somebody is telling what the expert said, then I don't know. How was y'all gamer channel? How y'all like that no look from Sims? Now I have to spend all night defending my boy Sims on Twitter.
Leave Sims alone, man. He's done this season. He's earned my respect.
I mean, listen, he only played 3 minutes. Precious Achiuwa is back, so that I think that's contributed to why he only played 3 minutes.
He's out the rotation.
But I'm gonna have respect for Sims for sure. For sure. Although, that might be the bro pick. Shout out to Sims. The Timberwolves are now us, what we have a few years ago. Okay.
Yep. Except we didn't have Ant Edwards.
Right.
We had the chaos, the mismatched roster, discontented stars, but we didn't. Oh, no, stars and rotations, but we didn't have Anthony Edwards as a backup plan.
Right. Louis Randle says Cat has always played well. He's just in NYC now. Lee and I was actually having a conversation before the show started about what looks different about Cat. Because what did you say about the turnover? You said something about the turnovers, Lee.
Oh, I think the spacing. I think a lot of it has to do with the spacing that he has here in New York in year one compared to what he's played for the majority of his career in Minnesota, with the exception of a Tibbs era, which was statistically his best basketball and awards-wise when he earned All-NBA, was when he was at the 5 and he was playing with a lot of shooting around him. Not just three-point shooting, but mid-range shooting. He had more space toward the basket. That Gobert trade, while it made them better defensively, and I think it probably made them more of like a bona fide contender because of front court depth, it hurt him. He had to sacrifice more than any other player on that Minnesota roster. Chris Finch said this. He said this. Ant Edwards said this. Even Gobert said this. Right? He sacrificed a lot of his one-on-one game in order to make it work at the 4. And now his driving lanes are completely open. If you notice, almost every time he's at the basket, no other Knicks is around him because they're stretching their defender to stay on them and to stay honest on defense. So to me, that's what it is. It's all about the spacing. And hey, give Tom Thibodeau credit again. for constructing this offense around him and his skill set.
Yeah, absolutely. And even now, it's like he's going from having quicker force guarding him to fives guarding him. So, like, I think just the fact that he's back at the five just allows him to utilize his skill set to even a higher degree. Where it's like, all right, I can beat most fives in a foot race off the dribble and go to the hole. The rate in which he's like line driving to the rim and like just being inside more this season, I don't think that was the case with the Timberwolves, and that could be because Gobert was at the five more, and that could just because he has slower defenders on him now. So I think he's definitely taking a step, and the turnovers have gone away too. Like he's not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hmm?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, like the big knock was the turnover. Like he would try to drive to the basket and try to make a play, and he would get caught up in the air passing the ball, and it'll be a turnover. And you really haven't seen those type of turnovers. The turnover I've seen with him this season has been offensive fouls.
Mm-hmm.
But like we haven't seen the I'm going to the basket, trying to pass the ball, trying to make a play, and it's a turnover. Like those have completely gone away. So I don't know. I think maybe the spacing, being at the five. Lisa has mentioned having more cutters has allowed him to show his passing more. It could be a lot of those things kind of just coming to fruition at the same time.
In Minnesota, because of their spacing over the last couple of years, defenders guarded the pass, not the catch. Here in New York, you have to defend the catch because the catch is OG, Mikal Bridges, Deuce McBride, Brunson. You're talking about 40, 41, 42% three-point shooters, not a lot of clanky volume guy or low volume guys that had in Minnesota over the last couple of years, including Nate Edwards until this season. So the guys that he shared the most minutes with on the court were not shooters at the degree that this Knicks team is with him. And defensive schemes have changed. Now he's playing alongside Jalen Brunson. Defenses are blitzing him. So it's an extra man going to help Brunson to cut off his driving lanes. They're also much less zone defense. That hindered him when he first got into the league under Tibbs. He has a lot more zone being played back then that collapsed on him in the paint, even before he caught the ball. You're seeing a lot less of that now because of his shooting metrics at all-time high on the perimeter. So those things, I think, impact his game and his versatility now that he's at the 5-2.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Karl-Anthony Towns, man, 27 points. I don't even know where those came from because he didn't start off looking like he's about to score 27. But he finished with 27 points, 16 rebounds. And you know what I like? I like those blocks, baby. I like those blocks, baby. 2 blocks. Yeah. Yep, I like that defense. Yep.
How about leading the NBA in rebounding?
Let's
Bro.
Chameleon. Chameleon. Goes to the floor, does a rebound, comes back to Tibbs, playing the best ball of his career, rebounding the ball like a freaking rock star. Let's go, man.
One more part.
I'm so happy to be wrong, Lee. I'm so happy to be wrong.
I mean, 5 minutes after the trade was announced, I tweeted out Dynasty. I saw the vision. I was a fan of it. And to stay on my soapbox 1 more minute, as I say every episode, win the rebounding battle, 43-40 Knicks. If you win the rebounding battle with this lineup, this is a key to success. It's no longer rim protection or field goal percentage. It's a rebounding battle, which has always been a component, but to me, it's top of the charts now, as well as 29 assists. If you hit 30 assists, you probably win the game as a Knicks. We were at 29, and we hit 78% of our free throws. We'd like to see that number a little bit higher, but 25 out of 32 ain't bad. I mean, let's be honest, it's not bad. So I can live with 78% when you think about going to the line 32 times. Pretty solid.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid. And I see you in the chat. I see y'all talking about Deuce. I see you talking about Deuce's shooting has continued to be really good for us. And also at 6 assists, he had to make this game without campaign. It's another reason why Mikal Bridges was on the floor as well. But Deuce has continued to play well and shoot well. And it's kind of been reported he's still feeling a little bit in that knee. Like he's still feeling something. But it hasn't really hindered his play as of yet once he's been back. But another solid performance from Deuce McBride, who finishes the game with 10 points, shooting 2 of 4 from 3. All right. So shout out to Deuce McBride and 6 assists plus 13.
Deuce, man. He is so damn lovable. There was a not safe for work joke that me and my dad had that I'm not going to repeat. That we were on the phone talking about the game, and I was just expressing my love for Deuce, and my dad was like, "What? Wait, where's the pause on that one?" Deuce is just Deuce is he is man. He is so badass. I said it, man. I think he's better in his role than IQ was, and I loved IQ. And I'm talking to the number one IQ fan right here with Jay Ellis. Like Deuce is more efficient in this role. For me, IQ was brought in here as a shooter, but the shooting was never consistent enough for me from three. And Deuce might be our most consistent shooter, and now he's a movement shooter. Now he can shoot off the dribble, pull up. He can shoot in traffic. I mean, it's unbelievable. He can be tightly contested and defended and still knock down a three in a corner. He's unbelievable. The assist playmaking increasing too now. Like I don't know what else we can ask for with that cheap of a contract that he continues to grow in his game. It's a testament to his character because he's probably the most underpaid player in the NBA right now.
Yeah. Knicks fleeced that thing, man. Traded IQ, got him on the contract immediately for 3 years, $12 million. Nice value contract in the NBA right now, considering that he'll be in talks for six man. And he's just been so essential for this Knicks bench. You need any type of scoring, any type of stability you can get. And we've gotten that from Deuce when he was healthy. So yeah, loving what I'm doing. And like you said, like he has been, the only thing I say IQ might have had over Deuce was maybe playmaking, but the shooting for Deuce has been way more consistent. And I think the fact that people can close out on him, I think that's what it really is. Like there's players who need a lot of room to shoot threes or need more time to shoot threes. Deuce can get that shot off quickly, efficiently, no wasted movement, and even over tighter contested defenders, which makes him pretty lethal for an offense. So I think that's what we're seeing with Deuce, and that's what we're benefiting from. So shout out to Deuce for sure.
Love Deuce, my third favorite Knick.
Yeah, let's go.
That's my guy.
Yeah, man. Deuce. I always have IQ love. Deuce. Sure. Speaking of IQ love and RJ, letting you know right now, Dexter will be coming to KOT to talk about the Knicks versus Raptors. That game will be what game? What day is that? Knicks Raptors will be the 23rd. So just letting you know at a time, a little bit before Christmas, come here to KOT show. We'll be talking Knicks Raptors with our special guest, Dexter, our guy. So shout out to the guy, Dexter Henry. He'll be here. We're in your Knicks talk.
Raptors is 9.
What happened?
Wait, which Raptor game? We have a Raptor game on Monday and a Raptor game December 23rd. Which 23rd. One? Okay.
December 23rd.
Dope. Looking forward to seeing him.
Yes, sir. All right. Cool. Any final thoughts? I feel like I've touched on everything I want to touch on.
No, man. Thorough post game. It's great to have an embarrassment of riches of things to talk about that are all positive. Tom Thibodeau, Leon Rose, Cat, Deuce, Josh Hart, Mikal. I mean, life is great for the first time as a Net fan and for my fandom. And I'm enjoying spending it with you, bro.
Appreciate that, man. I'm just glad we got over. I see you said Fritz said slow start. I'm glad that we got over the slow start because my eyebrow did raise in that first quarter. Like, are we really going through this shit again with the Hornets again? Like, are we really doing this right now? But we got together. And we blew them out. So I'll take that for sure. Now it's time for other part of the show. Who picks? Who picks you the best plays of the game or the week or whatever? My ooh pick definitely is going to be Cat, man. I gotta talk about Cat. The and one dunk to me had to be the ferocious play of the game for me, Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm trying to find the play because I'm trying to remember exactly how it went so I can get you. so I can get you the play-by-play. You know what? Sometimes I try to show the video, but sometimes I don't get a copyright strike. Yeah, transition. That's right. Yeah, I was in transition in I believe the third quarter. He kind of does a Euro step, and after he dunks it on dude's head, he begins to flex, talk smack. OG gives him the shoulder bump. Jalen Brunson starts barking. The team is hyped. The whole garden is hyped. Karl-Anthony Towns is showing a swagger. The shoulder shrug swagger is my favorite swagger. So shout out to bruh. I mean, my bad. Shout out to Cat. Any ooh picks from you?
My ooh pick is also my bruh pick, James Dolan. I have been honored to be asked by The Guardian to write a lengthy essay on the evolution of James Dolan, and I'm asking you, KOT family, in the chat, go to my status on Twitter where I tweet about James Dolan, and please give me your 2 cents on what you think about him as an owner. Has he gotten better? Has he stayed the same? Has he somehow gotten worse? What have been your favorite moments of him as an owner, if there are any? Probably hiring Leon Rose. And what are your worst memories of him as an owner? What do you think were the worst things that he did while he was since 1999 when his dad gave him the team on a silver platter? Let me know, because I'm writing an essay and I really want to get multiple voices. I want to hear from multiple fans on their opinion to inform my own.
All right. Okay, that's the bruh. But also the ooh, just because getting in there writing some essays, I'm happy for you. Happy for you. All right.
That's when I'm happiest.
Absolutely. Talented writer, man. Talented writer. Oh, got another ooh pick. Gotta say this. Defensive Player of the Year candidate OG Anunoby. 2 consecutive blocks, one play after the other. He's so happy we got to see OG Robot smile and interact with the fans after the 2 consecutive 3-point blocks. My other play of the game, my ooh pick. For sure. Yeah. I'm with it. Bruh pick. Sims no look pass. Bruh. I'm sorry. Shout out to Sims though, having a good year defensively. All right, yo, that's the show. Yes, any book recommendations? I haven't watched any anime in mad long. I know I haven't.
Man, no, I've been planting the seeds for a lot of big projects coming this year, so I actually haven't had the time to read, but I definitely will be doing that over the holidays. Promise to have one next time. Recommendation for the homies.
Got you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I haven't really watched a lot of TV lately. I've been all over the place.
Me neither.
Maybe a Christmas break, I'll have some time to do a little bit of everything. Work and watch some new anime or something. But no recommendations today. But that's all right.
Hell yeah.
That's all right. We'll have some at some point. All right. It'll be great for 2025 to have a full squad. Great to have Ryan G and Ebony back. Hopefully they'll be back 2025 or sooner.
Yep.
All right. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as you always know,
shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here. All right, in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace. Into the Knicks first. Shout George.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.